What's going on, football fans? Today is Friday, December 8th. I'm Kevin Carroll. He's Joe Soprano, and you know the drill by now. We are from TLSportsBetting.com. Everything you need to get ready for a football weekend with the fellas. And it's a bit of a lean weekend, this one. We are 1 week away from bowl season, so we only have one college football game on the schedule.
But it's a doozy of one.
It is a doozy of one. It is one of our greatest traditions in this country, the Army-Navy game. Why don't you take us away with the Army-Navy game?
You know, I learned something yesterday about the Army-Navy game.
What's that?
You know, the only college athletes in this country that cannot get NIL money are the kids from Army, well, and then Air Force, the other military academies, but the kids that go to the military academies. That seems horribly unfair.
I think I did know that. It does stink. Yeah, it's not. It feels like they probably deserve it maybe more than some others.
Yeah, well, the one thing, they do have guaranteed employment after they graduate, at least, though. Although it's not the safest employment, but we wish them all the best.
Yeah, we absolutely do.
But
the game.
So we've got Army and Navy. Army's a 2.5 point favorite.
2.5, we'll say, yeah.
I'm going to go with the under. I always like the underdog in these games. I think they come in with a chip on their shoulder. It's the biggest rivalry in college sports, although some people may argue that their rivalry is bigger. This is huge. I think these you're always going to get a good game. You're going to have two good disciplined teams, and this game's in Boston. And from what I know of geography, Boston is close enough for Navy to get those big destroyers right up next to the beach there and lob some missiles into the stadium if things aren't going well. So I think Navy's got this covered.
That's a tough point to have to refute. I will point out too, Army won this game last year. It was the first overtime game in the history of this rivalry. They've been playing for as long as football has been in existence. But and another thing that goes in Navy's favor is that I think it's been back and forth the last couple of years. Army won last year, so if that pattern were to hold, Navy would win. I'm taking Army minus 2.5 because of what they've done lately. Both these teams have the same record, 5-6, but Army's won 3 in a row. Navy has come on. They're coming in off a loss to SMU, and SMU's a tough team. You can't hold that against Navy, but Army's come in 3 wins in a row. One of those is over Coastal Carolina, who's typically a pretty good team out of the Sun Belt, and one of them was over Air Force. If you remember, Air Force was the hottest team in the group of 5 coming into, they started to sputter, but they were hot. They were hot at one point this year. Army beat them 23-3. They're in the driver's seat to win the Commander-in-Chief trophy. They just have to beat Navy. I think they're going to beat them. I think they're going to cover them. These games are kind of stalemates, right? We know how these games go, the triple option. Everything's on the ground. It's very much methodical.
Fun to watch. I love watching that triple option.
I love it, too. The reason I think I'm leading Army here, in addition to what I said about the three-game win streak, is that I was getting real deep into some stats because you have to find the edge here. And while both of these teams are they're 2 of the 3 worst teams in the country when it comes to explosive plays, like plays of over 10 yards, 20 yards, whatever. But I found a website, I think it was CFB Stats, shout out to them, that ranked all 150, however many teams there are in FBS by how many 10-yard plays, 20-yard plays, 30-yard plays, so on and so forth. Army has the edge there, and I think that's what it's going to come down to. I think someone just has to make a big play, and I think Army's going to be the one to make the big play. And at 2.5 points, you're protected if it's a field goal type of game, so I'll gladly ride with the United States Army.
Well, I'm taking the midshipmen.
Well, you do that. Well, what are you taking in the NFL? Let's go to the NFL. We have a good week of NFL games, not just one game, a whole good schedule full of games.
I'm going to make the Eagles fans very happy. Very happy. They're going to be sending me fruit baskets at Christmas for this one. I'm going to take the Cowboys minus 3.5 at, well, I don't even know what they call their AT&T Stadium.
Jerry World.
Yeah, Jerry World. If you've been following these videos, you know every time I pick the Eagles or against the Eagles, any game involving the Eagles, I am never right. But I think the Cowboys got this one. I think that last game in Philly, they were literally maybe 6 inches from having 2 more scores in that game. Dak Prescott in the run down the sideline just barely steps out before he goes into the end zone. And the other play down on the goal line to the tight end. The tight end's knee goes down just inches before that ball goes in. If either one of those 2 plays goes the other way, the Cowboys win that game, and they're in the driver's seat in the NFC East right now. I think home field is going to be a difference. I think you're going to see the Cowboys win this game. They're a 3.5 point favorite. I think they win and they cover, and I'll probably be wrong and be regretting that next week.
Musher. So you're mushing. You think you're mushing the Cowboys?
Oh, I mean, if history holds true, then I probably am. But I really think the Cowboys are in a position that they're going to win this game. They should win it by more than 3.5. But here's the thing: even if the Cowboys win this game, they'll be tied with the Eagles. The Eagles still have the tiebreaker because one of their 3 losses was an out-of-conference loss to the Jets, if I remember correctly.
Oh, my God.
The Cowboys, which is a bad loss. If this was college football, people would say, well, no, that's a bad loss. The Cowboys are going to the playoffs. The Cowboys' 3 losses are all in conference. So the Eagles have to lose this game and then lose somewhere else down the line, and the Cowboys have to run the table to take the division. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I think the Cowboys are going to win today or win Sunday.
Cowboys offense looking really good the last couple of weeks. So that's a good game too. Eagles Cowboys. That's a good
Sunday night
quality marquee matchup. I've got a good quality marquee matchup, at least. You would think if you look back the last couple of years, I'm taking the Chiefs. It's a very short 1.5 point favorite at home against the Buffalo Bills. We've seen these teams clash in the playoffs. We've seen these teams clash. It's always been just like this really great, fun game between 2 of the best teams in the AFC and all the NFL. Really, this year they're both kind of sputtering a little bit. The Bills more so than the Chiefs. The Chiefs are still in control in the AFC West. The Bills are in trouble. And I'm thinking the Chiefs here. Patrick Mahomes is 17-3 straight up after a loss. 17-3 straight up after a loss. With the line being as short as it is, you're basically betting on them just to win. I can only get burnt if they win by 1 or if they lose.
What I'd be looking at, I think the Chiefs have been a distracted team all year long because of that Linda Ronstadt dating the tight end, Travis Kelce. So if Linda Ronstadt is in the house, it may be trouble for the Chiefs.
I'm not worried about Linda Ronstadt. I don't think Linda Ronstadt's going to be there.
No,
I guess that's true. Oh my God, what if she was there? Anyway, back on schedule here. Yeah, the Chiefs. Mahomes is 17-3 straight up after a loss. I think that game on Sunday night, I don't think that's necessarily a bad loss because the Packers are starting to really, turn some heads. Jordan Love's playing really well, and you have to go to Lambeau in the cold in December. I wouldn't want to do that, so maybe they just didn't want to play that game. But now that they are the losses. I think they're 8-4. They're not moving the ball as well as they have in recent years. The wide receiving core is not that good. Obviously, Kelce is great, but your wide receiver 1 is Marquez Valdez-Scantling. It's a tough scene. Defense hasn't been great either. But I think that ultimately, these are 2 teams that we're all kind of looking at and saying, when are they going to snap out of it and beat the Chiefs and the Bills? And I think the Chiefs are going to snap out of it once we get once we get closer to the playoffs. I think the Chiefs are going to be the Chiefs. They're the defending Super Bowl champions. I don't see it with the Bills. I think the Bills are what the Bills are right now. I think they're 6-6, right at 500. I think that's what they are. Josh Allen makes a lot of plays and he gives a lot of plays up. They don't really run the ball very well, and their defense has been up and down. I don't think they're going to have a lot of success stopping Patrick Mahomes here. It's back in Kansas City, so that's a great home field advantage for the Chiefs as well. And I think the Chiefs are just going to win this game. And I think this is the start of them getting back on that Super Bowl contender track. 8-4 is not bad, but I think we could all agree that they're not the same Chiefs that we've seen win 2 of the last 4 or 5 Super Bowls.
You know who else is a big Chiefs fan? A lot of people might not know this.
Who's that?
Arthur Fonzarelli, the Fonz.
Is he really?
Henry Winkler, big Chiefs fan.
No way. Well, is Arthur Fonzarelli a Chiefs fan or is Henry Winkler?
Well, Henry Winkler. I would think Arthur Fonzarelli would probably be a Packers fan, being from Milwaukee.
I didn't know where that show was set.
Milwaukee.
Never
believe it. If I'm wrong about that, somebody out there in TV land let me know, but I'm pretty sure it was Milwaukee.
The only Chiefs fan I know, besides Taylor Swift, I suppose, is Paul Rudd of Ant-Man.
I did not know that.
He's in a lot of other stuff, too. That's just the first thing that came to mind. He's a big Kansas City sports fan. WWE wrestler Baron Corbin, also a big Kansas City sports fan, but that's all the Kansas City sports fans I have. Do you have any more?
There used to be a guy that used to send us pictures of himself with Chiefs players all the time, a local guy. I can't remember his name. That's the only other Chiefs fan I know. Back when Derek Thomas was playing for him.
Yeah, I don't have any more. And I don't think we have any more picks for you, so I think that's a good spot to wrap it up. If you didn't read my column in today's paper, I have one more NFL pick for you in there. Again, there's only one college football game on the schedule this week, but we're going to be right back at it. Bowl season starts next Saturday.
Can't wait.
I cannot wait for the Myrtle Beach Bowl to start us off. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl is going to be terrific. The Meineke Car Care Bowl, the
Don't forget the Mayo Bowl where they dumped the mayo over the guy's head.
Pop-Tarts, Cheez-Its. I'm sure. I don't know why one of these businesses downtown doesn't start a bowl.
Yeah,
game.
they should have the Gus Genetti's Bowl up at Wilkes-Barre Area High School.
The Gus Genetti Flower Bowl. I don't know. There's got to be a better, more specific name for that bowl. But I think the Gus Genetti Flower Bowl at McCarthy Stadium would be great. It'd be great.
I'd go with that.
All right, folks. I think we're going to leave you there. Again, tlsportsbetting.com. Everything you need to get ready for this weekend. All sorts of insights, picks, analysis, predictions.